Hello. I think I'm live now. Uh, I got a few things to tell you guys before we start talking about my subject or subjects. Uh, and then I'm wearing my duck shirt. I got this duck shirt a few days ago from Timu, and I love this duck shirt. I absolutely love the duck shirt. Yeah. So introducing the duck shirt, and of course I'm in my boxer briefs, and I've got the shirts not buttoned because it's like 85 degrees in here, and I finally have turned on my air conditioner, but I didn't run it today because it's lower 80s. But anyway, I'll get to some weather related subjects here pretty soon. But let me go ahead and add Kathy. My sister Kathy is in the wings here. So there she is. Hang on, let me see. There we go.
Hi.
Okay. All right. Hey, sis.
Hey, Bubba.
How's life treating you?
It's really good today. I went shopping and had a nice big old ham and cheese warmed up sandwich at Starbucks. So I've been, was it dancing on sunshine today?
Well, I tell you something. A few days ago, these new friends I've made down there at the campground. Oh, it was Tim. He did all the cooking, barbecue, and he cooked something called shotgun shells, which I've never had this. And what it is I believe it's hamburger meat that's rolled up like a sausage, and then wrapped in bacon and cooked on the grill. Might be some actual sausage actually in it too. I'm not positive, like mixed in with the ground meat. But oh my God, it was good.
Sounds sinful.
Oh man, yeah. And I was talking to Melissa when she was bringing me home that evening. Well, how could I jazz that up? I said, I tell you what would be good is like, cut up some like mozzarella cheese, like a strip of mozzarella cheese, and put it in there when you wrap it with the bacon.
Yeah,
the cheese would melt. She goes, "Oh man, that sounds good." But man, that was good. And she sent me home 3 or 4 more, to take home with me, and some steak. I don't know what kind of steak it was. I mean, it wasn't real expensive steak, but cooked on the grill. Of course, it was.
everything tastes good cooked on a grill. Pork and beans taste good to cook on a grill.
Oh man, I ate like a king. And today, what did I have today? I made me a hamburger today.
Yeah.
Because Tim has not been feeling well, and if he's watching, because he says he watches most of our shows, so hope you're feeling better. Will feel better soon, Tim. And he went to the doctor, I think today. I don't know what he found out, but hope you find out what's wrong and get some treatment and get to feeling better. Because, I know from talking to him and talking to Melissa, he really enjoys being outdoors and barbecuing and fishing and things like that, but he's just not been feeling good. So,
but I haven't met your new friends, Melissa and Tim, but bless them. Sounds like that they're being great friends to you, Jay. And I do hope Tim gets to feeling better. I do. There's nothing more frustrating.
Oh yeah, well that'd be and Melissa took me to Walmart a few days ago, and it was I think we've broken records for the amount of rain we've had. Seriously, no, I'm not joking. You're laughing, but I'm not joking.
Okay.
We have had well over a foot of rain in a week's time, probably closer to 14, 15 inches of rain.
Yeah.
In a week's time, which is the most I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Where it starts raining and you just don't think it's ever going to stop. It's that hard rain, and of course, people that have lakefront property has been, people's houses have been flooded. And it just like you think, well, it hardly has a day to let up before it sets in again.
Yeah.
So people barely can bail out the water they've got in their homes before it sets in again, and here it comes again.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is supposed to be clear, but Thursday is supposed to hit us again. Thursday, another potential 3 or 4 inches. So,
yeah. Well, I laughed because I thought you was going to tell me. Melissa and I have broke the record of trips to Walmart.
No. I just said the amount of room that we've got is I think it's particularly for this area, Lake Bahia, Groesbeck's been even worse. I mean, that first or second day that it rained so much, Groesbeck got well over 12 inches. Uh, and
Yeah,
but
it's rough.
we got a good 9 or 10 here at Lake Bahia. So,
Yeah.
but it's just been crazy. But after Thursday, if we can get through Thursday, it's supposed to be clear at least for a week.
Well, good, good.
So if we can get through Thursday, tomorrow's supposed to be nice, but yeah, Thursdays, we're on pins and needles. Well, I mean, particularly people that's got lakefront property, and even down there at the campgrounds where Melissa's at.
Yeah.
Even though that's uphill, it still comes up quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. Yep. I've seen it. I've seen it get right up to where you step out of the cabin. I've seen it get that high before. And that's some rain now. That whole where the regular campground area was underwater. Daddy said, I've never seen such. I've never seen it. We'll probably never see it again. And I'm like, good, because I think I was about 16 when that happened. It was something else.
Well, they tore our old house down,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen that underwater yet. So I guess
Yeah.
uh, not yet. It's come close, but I haven't seen
Yeah.
that underwater. Not yet.
Well, it did get in our house, and it got into our house knee deep on Daddy. And they had already taken the TV and put it up on the bar that you got as a dining room table. They put it up there, and so the TV was safe. And I mean, it was one of them big old floor console TVs. So we didn't lose anything. But I'll never forget, as long as I live, Mama in the kitchen after they did the big fans and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked up. She said, "Look up at that ceiling dome." And I looked up there, and she said, "There's a little snake up there." It was dead, but I'm terrified of snakes. So I went out. I was about, I don't know, you were a little bitty, so I had to be about 12, 13. I went out on the porch, stayed out there till Daddy could get over from the store to take it and remove it from the house. Kathy, get in here. No. She said, "It's dead." I said, "I don't care."
Well, speaking of that, they run a news report yesterday and today about, with all this rain and then the heat combined, it's bringing out the snakes in droves.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So copperheads and all that,
Yeah.
And when I was down there visiting with Melissa and Tim, you see them water moccasin with its head out of the water, coming by the shore there.
Yeah.
So the snakes are getting pretty bad right now because it's just a combination, not only all the rain, but it warming up, getting hot.
Yeah.
So the snakes are coming out. And then telling, people that, what to do and how to, just stay the fuck away from them, basically.
Well, yeah, you got to watch your dogs, though. People that have farm dogs.
Yeah. And I showed you that. I told you. I think I showed you when I was talking to you. Melissa found another little puppy when she was.
Yeah.
It brought me home. She said it was there by the circle. It was all covered in fleas and stuff. So I guess she got her another dog. I didn't ask about the dog today. I asked about it yesterday. But, snakes are.
They're bad.
Active, so you got to be careful.
Well, also those spread natters, Daddy called them, and a fair amount of rattlesnakes up around your place. You may not see them very often, but there are rattlesnakes there.
Yeah, what Daddy would usually find was them damn copperheads.
Yeah.
Some of them damn things that get huge.
God. I killed one over at Uncle Willie's place with a hoe in the front yard, and I went back. I was going to scoop it with the hoe and put it out there by the road. Do you know what I mean? Just away from my house. And that sucker was not dead. It was gone. I said, okay, I will not be killing any more snakes in this house. And I never did. Larry said, "Listen, Kathy, if you want me to, holler at me. If it's not poisonous, I'll relocate it. If it is, I'll shoot it." And I said, "Okay, thanks, Larry." I told him, I said, "Daddy put the fear of God in me," because we moved out there when I was 6, in snakes. And you can't tell me to go, "Oh, that won't bother you, that won't bother you." All snakes to me, I can't handle.
Well, yeah, and and that's something that Of course, we got quite a few beaver around here. I remember it was one time it was with me and Barry, I think, crossed that bridge up there. And there was a dead there was a dead beaver
Oh,
on the bridge, um, and them damn nutria, them ugly bastards. Uh,
Daddy used to call them river rats. He
oh
would
God,
go.
they're the ugliest looking. They just something out of a damn nightmare. Them things. Oh my
He
God.
would go with one of the game wardens, and they would go. And Daddy never, believed in killing anything. He doesn't want, I'll relocate it, and I know, Daddy, I know. But Nutria, the game warden, there'd be 2 or 3 boats with the game wardens brought out and launched. They'd get Daddy to go with them, and they'd have to thin them out, Jay. Those nutria, because see that river, runs down through the lake there,
Well, they get in
and
people's yards and dig up their gardens and all that crap.
they'd get people's jugs out there, their trot line. They'd eat the trot line fish, and that's what made people madder than anything else. People that lived out there had a right to put a certain amount of trot lines out every year
Yeah.
and bait them, So
But I've
Daddy
seen a
come
few of
back,
them damn things, man, them the ugliest looking things, them nutria. Ugh.
yeah,
They
and
look
Daddy,
something out of a damn nightmare. Them big old, they got big old teeth, and,
yeah.
and, and were rats. They look like giant rats.
And Daddy said they stunk to high heaven. And he never would tell me. I said, Daddy, did y'all kill them? We thinned them out. He never would say that we put, that's all he'd tell me. I'm like, okay. And, I asked a couple of times, and he'd say, just don't ask. I told you had to go thin them out because it just broke Daddy's heart to kill anything. But he said, thinning them out, that was pretty easy. That didn't really tug at my heartstrings. And I said,
Yeah.
well, you go frog gigging and love to fry up them frog legs.
Well, yeah, I ain't gonna like I say them damn things. They literally look like giant rats.
They do.
Yes,
Yeah.
what they look like, giant rats.
Yeah.
And just the ugliest looking things in the world. Let me ask you something, Kathy. Is it possible that you can maybe lower your phone down a little bit because you've got a huge amount of headroom?
I can't.
You
I
can't.
can't. No, I could push it out like that.
When we want to bring it in closer, try to cut down on the headroom.
Yeah,
But
no, I
if
can't.
you
There's
can't do
nothing I
it,
can do about that because it's the phone stand that I'm
yeah.
using.
Well, that right there is not too bad. Right there.
Well, I'm not going to hold it for you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, no,
I'm,
that's all right. That's all right. I mean, if
I,
you can't do it, you can't do it.
I'm going to see if I can put something behind it, maybe, and it'll do it.
It's not a big deal. It's just you just got a
Yeah,
whole
my
bunch of
diabetes medication I keep in here for the day. Oh, because I have to take 3 shots during the day and 1 at a time.
and we'll get to the subject here pretty soon, but we're hanging out.
No,
I see 4 people. If you're here, say something.
I ain't
But 4
talking to you
people,
today.
but 2 of them
So,
gotta be you and me.
now that's better. That's better.
Yeah, there you go. That's a little better.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to get to the subject. The subject being David Lynch and Ridley Scott, and there's a lot we can say about those 2 gentlemen as
Yep.
directors. Probably more. We could fill up a couple of shows probably with those guys. But we'll skip around different movies. We're certainly not going to talk about everything they've done, But
There's no way. We'd be
but
here till next month.
yeah. But I was trying to think if there's anything else before we get to the subject that I wanted to say. Oh, I told you I did a Temu unpackaging the other day, but I'll reiterate. Finally got my new camera.
I was so glad.
Finally got that $900 something with the warranty and all that. Nearly $1,000 for that damn thing. It's still in the box. I opened it just to see if it was in there and it was intact and everything, but I haven't played with it. I haven't charged the batteries on it. Got a bunch of new extra things that come with it, new like a tripod and extra battery and cleaning kit and a case to put the camera in and all kinds of stuff. But what wasn't in the original package was the wide angle lens and telephoto lens that I was supposed to be in the package. But I wrote the seller. It was through Walmart that I bought it, but it was another seller selling through Walmart. And I wrote the seller and said, "Oh, look, I got my camera today, but I didn't get these lenses. And basically, well, could you send us a picture of what you got? And can you send us a picture of the packing receipt? I did both of that. And just within maybe 30, 40 minutes, I got a message. Well, it's in the UPS mail, or not UPS, or in the regular mail. And got them yesterday.
Oh,
Got
I'm so glad. I was glad you got those because that's one of the main things you wanted.
that was the reason why I bought from that particular seller, is because they were including those two lenses. Them two lenses, if you were to buy them separately, they're about $300.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah.
Particularly that wide angle lens. Yeah, just the cheapest you can get out on a wide angle lens is probably around $300.
Yeah.
And really anxious to play with that when I finally start playing with the actual camera.
Now listen, I stopped being scared of my air fryer, and after looking at it for 2 weeks and walking around it and talking to it.
Well, there's something. The reason why I wouldn't say I'm scared of it, but there's so many bells and whistles on it that there's new things I want to learn to get more of a movie look. And I've gone and looked at several YouTube videos that talk specifically about the R50, which is the Canon R50 is what I got. That they really have just say that is a great camera for making movies, making short films.
That's good.
But mainly because it's so inexpensive. It's around $600. And it shoots in 4K, and it shoots 24 frames, which is the movie speed, kind of gives it that movie look, and so I've gone and looked at all these different settings that they recommend, shutter speed and all that, to get the best look for a movie. So it was something that I really haven't done with the camera I've been using, is I've just kept everything automatic. And they're telling you, well, get it out of automatic, go into manual mode and set, and set all these different things to get the best look.
Yeah.
So not saying I'm not scared of it, but I haven't done that.
You're anxious. You're just anxious.
Yeah, a little anxious.
Yeah.
I just want to get it figured out, But I but I have to get my actors first before I can do anything. So
yeah,
I casting call out for the list.
I saw that.
I've got a few responses, but none that have asked me to send them the script yet. So
yeah,
I'm going to look into that maybe tomorrow and see if I can put it a few more places and just boost the posts and stuff.
Well, the premise, Jay, is frightening for a lot of people, right? The premise, but if they'll read the script like I did, it's not at all what they think it's going to be.
Deals with child abuse.
I know.
It's something that I was trying to emphasize, that you see no child abused in the movie.
No.
There's no depictions of child abuse in the movie. You're dealing with characters that have dealt with child abuse and how they deal with it. That is a serious subject, but I've tried to treat it in a way that makes the characters interesting. And
I think you did.
It's not really a horror movie, but there's people dying in it. There's blood in it. So if you like that kind of stuff, I've got that in.
Are you going to film in color or black and white?
I think color, because shooting in 4K is supposed to be, like twice as clear and sharp as what I've been doing. 4K is right now it's like the ultimate, in high definition,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to shoot in color to take advantage of that, to take advantage of the 4K.
Yeah.
But like I say, still in the box, and
it's there, and it got there safely, and
it's all there, and I got my lenses, and so it's just a matter of the main thing right now is actually getting some people to be in the movie. So so
who's in the chat room?
Let me see. I'm still showing 4 people in here, but yeah, if you're here, please speak up, and I will
say hi.
Hey, everybody. And if it, as Kathy says often, but I'll say it, if you're watching, please give us a thumbs up, because that helps us a lot in getting these streams seen by folks and stuff. Um, and I'm like the stuff we've done. It's the views keep going up, and I sure appreciate that. And you folks that are watching and giving us a thumbs up and stuff.
Yeah, it means a
So,
lot.
okay, let's talk about David Lynch and Ridley Scott, and let's start with David Lynch. Now, I was going to North Texas State University, which the year I left, I didn't graduate. I went a year and then I left. But anyway, the year I left, they changed it to the University of North Texas. Uh, and I'll make a joke here that's kind of dirty, but it's the truth. They had a radio station. They had a college radio station that you could hear, and it was what was it? K North Texas. Uh, K. I think it was KNTSU or KNTS because it was K North Texas State.
It's usually 4, yeah.
But once they changed their name to University of North Texas, it would be KUNT. I'm assuming they didn't do that.
Yeah, they probably changed the letters up a little bit.
I would think they probably did not have KUNT.
I mean, I'm just guessing,
But I couldn't help but think I was making jokes about that. So is that the station going to be now? Is it going to be KUNT, University of North Texas? Now we got someone here. Twisted X says, "Hey y'all, hey Twisted X."
Hi, Twisted X. Thanks for jumping in. We're about to talk about David Lynch.
Yeah, and also, what I was going to say, and I forgot to say it, but anybody that wants to join me and Kathy here in the live stream, please let me know, and I'll put the link here where you can just click on it and join us, because I can have up to 10 people on here, and the more the better. So anybody that might want to join, just let me know, or holler there in the chat. But anyway, I was going to North Texas. And at the Student Union building, they had a little movie theater. I think it was a buck to see a movie. And I saw several movies there. I saw the movie that you can no longer see from the Song of the South. I saw Song of the South there. You can't see that anymore with Uncle Remus and all that, because in this, politically correct world we're living in, you can't watch Uncle Remus anymore. But I saw Song of the South. I saw, what did I see? Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I saw there when it came out. Let's see. And Twisted X is naming some Lynch here. Lost Highway, crazy movie from David Lynch. Yes, I have seen Lost Highway, but it's been a long time. I need to reintroduce myself to Lost Highway. But anyway, long story short, I saw this movie, Eraserhead. And I think it might have been a midnight movie. And if I wasn't the only person in the theater, there might have been one other watching Eraserhead. And it was the most bizarre, fucked up thing I had ever seen in my life. I mean, it was like entering a nightmare and just being absorbed by this bizarre movie. And I loved it. At the end of it, I just loved it. I mean, I loved going through that experience, seeing something so bizarre, so twisted and warped and weird. And I remember after it was over, went, who the fuck came up with this? Who
gotta look.
My God, who came up with this damn movie? And then I actually did some research about who it was, David Lynch, and this would be around 1985, I think, is when I saw it. But yeah, Eraserhead. And God, if you have not seen Eraserhead, find Eraserhead. And
yeah, you missing out.
Be prepared to be weirded out. It is an experience. Eraserhead is an experience. But anyway, let me see if I get the names right here. Because David Lynch many of his movies are very surreal, dreamlike, very, weird. It's almost sort of nightmarish in a lot of cases. Um, he has a very surreal way of looking at life, and that comes through in most of his films. A very warped way of looking at
I
life.
sort of say,
Uh,
war.
but let's talk about Eraserhead. 1977. Jack Nance plays. Well, I think his name is Henry, and but he's the actual Eraserhead in the movie. But anyway, Jack Nance. He later appeared in Twin Peaks as a character in Twin Peaks. Jack
Yeah,
Nance,
I remember that.
which we will talk about Twin Peaks. But let's stay with Eraserhead for right now. And so anyway, it's a story of, well, as best as you can say, story. It's a story about Henry and Mary, and they get together and they have a baby. And this baby, how can I describe this
It
thing?
ain't right.
It ain't right. No, that's the best way to. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It ain't right. Um, it looks almost spermazoic. You know, it's got this long neck, almost like an ET looking head. Uh, a misshapen body, and it makes this sound. It cries. Um, but it's an inhuman looking thing. This baby they have, and Mary gets freaked out about the baby, obviously. So she, uh, skedaddles, leaving poor Henry to have to care for this baby, this warped baby.
Poor
Uh,
baby. It ain't
monster.
right.
Yeah, it ain't right. No, the poor baby. But anyway, I'm not going to go a whole lot into the plot of this thing. You couldn't even almost really call it a plot. It's just sort of a series of very surreal things and images.
It's like he takes ideas and he mod podges them together, and then he does a twist. He twists them.
Yeah,
I
uh,
mean, really, that's what it reminds me of.
yeah,
So,
and then also, but I want to mention in Eraserhead, the lady in the radiator, uh, and she's got these puffed cheeks, and she sings. I forget the song she sings. Maybe someone that's watching this can tell me the song she sings. What's the lady in the radiator? What's the song that she sings? I see 5 people here, but and I think at the end of the movie, Henry gets united with the lady in the radiator, and I don't know. They go off and live happily ever after or something. I don't know. But yeah, Eraserhead is one of the early cult films, like midnight movies,
yeah,
even before Rocky Horror Picture Show.
yep.
No, I think this was after Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I think Rocky Horror is 1975, but it played in theaters in a similar fashion as Rocky Horror Picture Show would show like a midnight film. It was a
Yeah.
cult movie where people would go just to experience this very weird movie, Eraserhead. um, but yeah, it's one of the. If you talk about cult films, the first movie that's going to come to mind is Rocky Horror Picture Show, but this will be maybe number 2 is Eraserhead. um, so, and the how I was introduced to David Lynch. Now he had done some things before that, had done some short films. I remember one of the things I saw that he had done, one of the early short films that he had done. It's I think it's Alphabet, and
Yeah.
they eat each other, and so you have like A eating B and B eating C or something like that. As I remember, it's like these alphabets that are eating each other. Very weird. Um, but yeah, and when David Lynch, when he talks like that. He has
Mhm.
that voice, that kind of whiny voice when he talks. David Lynch. uh, okay, so there's Eraserhead, 1977. Now, and I think this is actually his second film and one of my all-time favorite movies. Period. Is The Elephant Man. Um, I love movies about real people, real stories about real people. Uh, and Elephant Man, I think, is one of the best stories about a real person. And considering, I think this was, if it's not his second film, I think second or third film, but I think this might have been his second actual legitimate theater movie was Elephant Man. And
Yeah, he
he,
did it in 1980.
yeah, well, let's see. What have I got here? Is that what you got, 1980?
Yes,
Okay. Uh,
I got research.
but that I have seen this actually recently, and it's streaming. I think maybe on the Amazon channel, maybe Tubi. Anyway, go say if you haven't watched the Elephant Man, go watch it.
The first one is was it remade? I don't know.
No, no,
Okay,
I don't think it was ever remade.
I don't think anybody should touch it. I mean, because
No, well,
that
no.
might be maybe version.
Yeah, it's filmed in black and white. It's beautiful in black and white. And Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter, plays this doctor that goes to the sideshow where people are being exploited for all their, the all the different afflictions they have, and he sees the Elephant Man. I think his name is John Merrick, and he has a very enlarged head. Uh, just they dubbed him the Elephant Man because he had this huge enlarged head, um, and half of his body is just twisted and misshapen, and he was the Elephant Man at the sideshow, but he's real sick. And the guy that runs the sideshow, he beats him, he starves him, treats him like shit, treats him like an animal. And Anthony Hopkins takes him to his hospital and takes care of him, uh, takes care of his wounds and such, and actually develops a relationship with John Merrick, the Elephant Man, to where he actually becomes a famous public figure where people want to go and visit the Elephant Man. He's really intelligent. He's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he looks like a monster, with his face and his head, but he's a real intelligent, smart, thoughtful person. And so you have famous people, actors and stuff of the stage that come and meet the Elephant Man, and and have a conversation with him. And but anyway, one of the best performances in any movie ever is John Hurt as the Elephant Man.
Yep.
Now, John Hurt is if you see Alien, which we're going to talk about Ridley Scott, and the guy that gets that thing busting out of his chest, well, that's John Hurt. And he plays the Elephant Man. And it's just tons and tons and tons of prosthetic makeup, where, of course, you don't recognize him. But the performance he gives is so touching and so realistic, and very, the way he talks, because it's hard for him to talk. He wheezes when he talks, and this breath, because he's got this huge head that constricts his vocal cords, and the physical performance John Hurt gives, plus just the very emotional performance he gives as the Elephant Man. It's just one of the best examples of just great acting I've ever seen. And I think he was nominated for an Oscar for the role. I don't think he won, but he was nominated. But anyway, go see the Elephant. If you haven't seen the Elephant Man, see the Elephant Man. Just one of my favorite movies, period. And David Lynch pulls back the weirdness in this one. Now, there is some of his trademark strangeness and some visuals that he has in there that's right out of David. That's coming right from David Lynch. But for the most part, he tells the story straightforward, tells it in a very good way. It's very well edited. Great acting from John Hurt and Anthony Hopkins. And but anyway, yeah, I could do a whole show about the Elephant Man. I love the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next one we're not going to skip over it, but we're not going to spend much time talking about Dune. 1984.
I want to talk about Blue Velvet
That's the next one we'll talk about.
I
But
want to talk. I just watched it now, and I got strong opinions about it.
okay, well, and we will get to that. But Dune, 1984. Of course, it was a huge book, very popular book, and I don't know. The problem with Dune, and there's a lot of problems with Dune, but one of the biggest problems I have with Dune is I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I have a little bit of an idea of what's going on, but it's so bizarre and just you see the opening crawl that's explaining this world that that it's this spice that everyone is like deals that was the way they that's the way they deal in finances is through this thing called spice. It's like a drug that people are addicted to, and you get these giant worms that come out of the sand. And but anyway, it's so just almost incomprehensible, that movie. And it's there's a remake of Dune come out a few years ago. I think there's a Dune 2 is coming out soon. I think this year, I think. They say that's good, and I tried watching it, and once again, I just can't get into it. I guess it's just not my kind of story. Very fantasy, science fiction, fantasy, but the type of science fiction and fantasy that I just don't, it's just not my bag. But Frank, David Lynch just didn't do a good job with this one, and it's just too incomprehensible and just too overproduced, and some of the special effects look really bad. And anyway, let's skip over Dune and let's talk about what Kathy wants to talk about. Blue Velvet. Now, let me say at the beginning, Kyle MacLachlan, who later appears in Twin Peaks, Isabella Rossellini, and Dennis Hopper. And oh my God, Dennis Hopper in this movie. He's huffing, I guess it's nitrous oxide he's huffing, out of this mask, and this tank of, I guess it's nitrous oxide. He laughs hysterically, and he's a psychopath, Dennis Hopper. I love him in Blue Velvet, Dennis Hopper. For me, he's the standout, Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet. But anyway, we're getting weird again. But what I really like about Blue Velvet is the way it shows like almost an ideal slice of America. Just, beautiful houses and sunshine and flowers growing and just a perfect life. But underneath this perfect life is a very twisted, very dark, very surreal story being told. And I love the juxtaposition of that. The way some of the visuals in Blue Velvet are just beautiful. Particularly the way it begins is just beautiful. And then Kyle MacLachlan finds a severed ear in the grass, and then things get fucked up. And Isabella Rossellini, who's, that poor girl. Well, she's an actress, and she was paid to do what she was doing, and she knew what she was doing. But
she's a jazz singer.
But she's often fully nude, naked. She's exploited. She's used as like a sex slave by Dennis Hopper, abused. What that poor girl goes through in Blue Velvet is like, well, like I say, this was an actress performing a role, and she got paid to do it. And but I feel so sorry for Isabella Rossellini in this movie. I remember Roger Ebert reviewing this movie, and he gave it a thumbs down because of that, because of the way Isabella Rossellini is treated in the movie. He says he felt so bad for her that even though he thought the movie was very well made, he couldn't give it a recommendation for the way that her character is treated in the film, Isabella Rossellini. But anyway, let's see what you have to say about Catherine.
Well, I mean, I really liked it. I mean, so I watched one he put out called The Rabbits. Oh my gosh. But if you go to David Lynch Theater on YouTube, you can see it. And I didn't care for it. But Blue Velvet had been passed around multiple times in the late 70s and early 80s. And several major studios, Jay, just wouldn't have nothing to do with it. They're like, no, 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 no. Yeah. The strong sexual and violent content was too disturbing for them. They deemed it a black comedy because of the rape and the violence, and the whorehouse they went to that's raising her little boy because Dennis Hopper wouldn't let her have her little boy, Rosalini. But you're leaving out Laura Dern. What the heck?
Well, I'm sorry, yeah, Laura Dern. Yeah,
She was 16 when she made this movie.
Yeah.
And she becomes Jeffrey Beaumont, Kyle McLaughlin's. He's home from college because his dad's had a stroke. That's why he's even there, right? And that's when they find the ear, and then he meets her, and they think, well, we'll turn into detectives. Dorothy probably has something to do with it because she's around all these weird people, all these evil people. And her daddy was the town, was he the sheriff or the doctor? I can't remember. But anyway, he was a well-valued Laura Dern's daddy in the town. But I really liked it. I liked the way it was written. I liked the actors and actresses in it. But she becomes Isabella Rossellini. Dorothy becomes obsessed with this college boy. And she decided, because they started Vodio and Adoin, because he felt sorry for the way that she was treated. And that's not good. Because, of course.
And like I say, once again, you get into Dennis Hopper's performance, and there's some scenes where he really chews the scenery, but I just love it. I love him in this film.
Well, yeah. You can't help but love it. It borderlines on the love and hate. Come on now.
And what is it? The hang on, it's the song that he sings. And what is that? In Dreams. Yeah. In Dreams. And Dennis Hopper singing In Dreams. But anyway, I really like the movie. The problem is, well, not really a problem, but it's a movie that I can't watch very often.
Well, no, I've seen it, so honestly, I will not probably revisit it.
Because it gets so dark, and particularly with Isabella Rossellini, the way she's treated, I really would. If I'm going to revisit it, it's mainly going to be for seeing Dennis Hopper, ape the screen and chew up the scene.
He did
the film, but it's so dark. It's so, violent, towards her, and. It's a bit of a down.
That's mainly why it took so long, apparently, for it to come out. Because
I'm trying to think a studio releasing this considering how heavily it could have been cut.
They'd have to take out all the good parts.
Yeah, but. Yeah, and that's another one I would suggest. If you haven't seen Blue Velvet, well, go see it. Go experience Blue Velvet.
Dennis Hopper is described as sexually depraved psychopath.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, there you go.
Inhaling that gas, but good way to describe him.
I thought so. Yeah,
but that really showed David Lynch's visual style, what he could do visually, what he could put on the screen visually. There's just some great shots in that film that they're just beautiful. And like I say, it's that juxtaposition of beautiful countryside, beautiful small town, and this very dark, twisted underbelly in this small town. Okay, now what are we going to talk about next here? Hang on just a minute. Uh,
I'll give you one and let you run off with it while I step away. Why don't you
okay.
talk about the straight story,
We will
1999?
come. Yeah, we will get to the straight story.
Oh, okay.
We will get to it. That's one of his later films, last later films. Uh,
99, yeah.
but and I guess the next one we'll talk about 1990, Wild at Heart. Laura Dern again,
Yeah.
and Nicolas Cage, and their lovers. And Nicolas Cage kind of does an Elvis impression, the way he talks and the way he acts, and he's kind of doing an Elvis. Um, and Laura Dern, and let's see who else. Uh, uh, because I'm trying to think who else was in that, and I've got it here. Oh, Willem Dafoe. Oh yeah,
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about once again a twisted character, depraved, and he wears these teeth, these fake teeth, Willem Dafoe that jut out. So he's got these teeth that are jutting out, and he just yeah, Willem Dafoe once again. You get a very twisted, very psychopathic character, and Willem Dafoe once again. You get a character who really gets into that role, really chews the scenery. Willem Dafoe, I love him in that movie. Oh, Diane Ladd. Now
Yeah.
Diane Ladd, I don't know if she's still alive or not. Laura Dern is,
Yeah. I don't know.
but
I,
Diane Ladd was or is Laura Dern's actual mother, real life mother.
yeah.
And she was an actress, and Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Other stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of films. But Diane Ladd is in Wild at Heart with Laura Dern, with her daughter, Laura Dern.
Cool.
And I love her in this too. And she got an Oscar nomination also, Diane Ladd, for her role, where once again, she really gets into it, really chews the scenery, because I think she plays Laura Dern's mother in the movie, but she hates Nicolas Cage. She hates his character and wants him to die. I think she wants Willem Dafoe to kill him, if I'm not mistaken. But you get some real, surreal moments with Diane Ladd in this film, where she really chews the scenery. And I remember, yeah, she was nominated for an Oscar for that. I don't think she won, but yeah. You get Crispin Glover's in there real quick. I like his part in it. I think Isabella Rossellini's actually in it. Harry Dean Stanton in Wild at Heart. And it's a fun movie. It gets into some dark areas. It's not as dark and depraved as Blue Velvet. It has a little more fun. Uh, it's a little, I don't know if you'd call it lighthearted, but it's a little more not as realistic. Not that Blue Velvet was realistic, but yeah, it has a little more fun with what's going on. Wild at Heart. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it, and I like particularly like Willem Dafoe in that, and Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, and yeah, but yeah, that's a good one. Wild at Heart. Okay. And so now I guess, and maybe Kathy can talk more than I will about this, because I watched every episode back in the day, but it's been 100 years since I've seen Twin Peaks.
Oh,
And I remember me and Barry and Mark had a Twin Peaks party where we went to Walmart and we got cherry pie and we made coffee. And we had a Twin Peaks party while watching Twin Peaks. We ate cherry pie and drank and watched Twin Peaks. But that was the show to watch back in the day, was Twin Peaks. And it's David Lynch, and I forget who actually made the show with him. So, who did? Mark Snow? Who was it that made Twin Peaks?
well, like I will remember all that.
Um,
Yes, him and wait, sneezing. Him and Mark Snow met at Big Boys, where David Lynch used to go every day and have a chocolate shake and meet with actors and other directors. It's just the way they brainstormed. And he I watched a lot of interviews with David Lynch and Sir Ridley Scott as well, but he was talking about how and he said he would write on napkins. He said, well, that's your paper is your napkin. And Mark came in and said, I got an idea, but I don't know if we can do anything with it. And he goes, well, bring it here. What is it? He said, well, starts with a dead girl. He said, so, and Mark and David Lynch said, okay. And he said, well, don't you want to hear more about it?
Laura's underneath?
Yeah. And he said, don't you want to hear more about it? And he said, no. Let me write some things up and we'll visit again tomorrow. He went, I don't know how many times he went to Big Boys to brainstorm, but apparently it was quite often. And he did this, he said, for 7 years. He'd go to Big Boys. And he said, that was more my office than anywhere else. And I said, yeah, that's pretty cool, And that's how it starts out. They find this poor dead girl.
Find the dead girl, and is it where was she, like in the woods or by like a river or something?
I keep thinking she was found in the water. I'm looking it up real quick.
Might have been found in the water, because I remember the makeup they did on her looked like she had been in the water.
Right.
And once again, it's Kyle MacLachlan, who was in several of David Lynch's films, but it's Kyle MacLachlan as agent. What's his name? What's the agent's name?
I'm looking it up. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, what I liked, I mean, I never missed it. It was
me either. No, and I was like, it's sad that I can't say a whole lot about it right now because I've forgotten so much about it. But me either. I watched every episode of it.
And he made a couple of really good spinoffs about it too. I mean, it wasn't just that one premise. He did a couple of them. Sorry. Come on up. All the pop-ups. You know how it is when you log on to your tablet and you hadn't been on it all day. You got 500 pop-ups to hit you. But anyway, but I really like, when you think it's going to go down a storyline and it heads off down a storyline and then it just goes sideways.
Well, and of course, it being from David Lynch, not also and Mark Snow, but of course, if you're going to have David Lynch involved in it, it's going to go into some weird.
Well, yeah, and
you can't say midget anymore, even though I've just said it.
Yeah, it's not appropriate.
The backwards talking dwarf, where he talks backwards, but you get his interpretation at the bottom of the screen, and.
Texas Lottery is trying to give me some money. I wish. They're going. No, I wanted to learn. I wanted to read a little bit more about Twin Peaks before we get off the subject. Well, I will tell you before Jay tells you, because I want to tell you, because I learned this in an interview. A crime drama mixed with healthy doses of the surreal. The series is about an FBI agent, Dale Cooper, who travels to the small logging town of Twin Peaks to solve the murder of seemingly innocent high schooler Laura Palmer. Almost nothing is as it seems, and however the show sometimes eerie visuals, David Lynch, oddball characters, and wild dream sequences drive the point home. And it had David Lynch plays an FBI deputy.
He's actually in it. David Lynch is.
Yeah, Gordon Cole, Kyle MacLachlan, Dale Cooper, Sherilyn Fenn, Audrey Home, Laura Flynn Boyle. I always liked her. Donna Hayward, Machen Amick Sally, David Duchovny. I forgot he was in it.
Yeah.
Dennis Bryson, Michael Aunt King, Ontkean, Sheriff Harry S. Truman.
Yeah.
And Peggy Lipton plays Norma Jennings. I just thought it was just the most weirdest, coolest show I had ever seen in my life. Oh, Ray Wise is in it. I knew there was other people that I knew really well. Heather Graham ended up doing something. Dana Ashbrook, I like him too. He paid. It ran from 1990 to 91. Oh, why did Twin Peaks? Okay. Studio interference led to the premature cancellation of Twin Peaks, a beloved and influential TV show. The battle between David Lynch, Bob Iger over revealing Laura Palmer's killer ruined the show's direction and caused the ratings to go. Because see, we watch it trying to
Yeah,
find
and
out.
that's something that I do remember is at the end of it, I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the way it ended. Where basically Kyle MacLachlan's possessed by the killer of Laura. And I just thought, yeah, that's just going too, that's going too out there and it's just a little too silly, I thought. So I didn't care for the way it ended, but there's a lot of it I really did like. And most of the series I really did enjoy. And it's out there. I think it's streaming in some place. It's streaming somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't seen it, but they had a resurgence for Twin Peaks.
Yeah, 2024. They were called The Catcher. And it was Twin Peaks cast in it.
Yeah. But I haven't seen that. But I've actually heard some good reviews of that. So something I might want to check out. So, but anyway, yeah, Twin Peaks. Okay. And that would come his next movie, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me.
There you go.
1992, which is kind of a prequel to Twin Peaks. It leads up to Laura Palmer's death. And it
Laura?
Explains what happened. But it's a good movie. It's been a while since I saw that in the theater when it came out, but it's been a while since I've seen that. But anyway, yeah. If you like Twin Peaks, then you should see Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah. And then they did Twin Peaks Jade the Return.
That's what I'm talking about. I think that was a few years ago. You could,
well, 2017. There was 18 episodes of that. Now I'd like to see that. It premiered on,
I haven't seen that, but I'd like to see that.
It premiered on Showtime. I mean, they say there's like season 2 and 3, but it's really kind of like different. You know what I mean? It says it's quarter of a century. It asks, is Twin Peaks season 3 a continuation? It's not a reboot or a remake. It's just season 3, picking up where season 2 left off. No one but David Lynch would do that. Yeah. Okay, I'm done with it.
Okay, well, let's talk about, and it's what that I've had his comment on the screen all this time, Twisted X, Lost Highway. And I believe this is 1997. Bill Pullman, and he was kind of canceled because I think he killed his wife. Robert Blake, Beretta, Robert Blake. But yeah, that's a very twisted, weird movie. It's definitely all David Lynch, Lost Highway. And I couldn't even go into the plot of Lost Highway.
See, I couldn't find it to watch it. I mean, listen, I have a problem now. I need to sign up through to Prime on my phone, because here's the problem. I'm still linked to the ex-husband's Amazon Prime account. I mean, I pay for my own. I got my own, but if I try to watch it on my TV, well, I can't. You know what I mean? And I've asked him, can you please take me off of there so I can, sign up for it my own self. Oh, okay. But he hadn't done it.
But anyway, I can't really, because maybe, I don't know if Twisted X is still in here. Maybe he can tell us what it's about, because it's been so, I have seen it, but it's been forever. I do remember Robert Blake being, he's bald and he's got his face is like painted white or something. And he's but I forget the character he's playing. It's a very bizarre character, but it's a weird movie. It definitely is David Lynch. It may be almost a little bit too much David Lynch, Lost Highway, because I've seen it once. I don't remember a thing about Lost Highway, and Mulholland Drive, I haven't seen that.
I like that one.
But what's that about, Mulholland Drive?
Oh gosh. Don't ask me.
2001, I believe.
Yeah, I'll lie to you.
Okay. uh, and in Inland Empire, I haven't seen that. But okay, then now we can talk about Straight Story.
No,
Uh,
wait.
well, okay.
Mulholland Drive's a 2001 thriller. It is also slash mystery. Um, I like it because I like it. I've seen it, but it'd been so long to explain it. It's kind of and it's out there, right? It's a dark-haired woman, Laura Elena Herring, is left with amnesia after a car wreck. She wanders the streets of Los Angeles in a daze before taking refuge in an apartment. There, she's discovered by Betty Naomi Watts. Did a lot of his work with him with David Lynch, and so did Laura Dern. Naomi's a wholesome Midwestern blonde who has come to the City of Angels seeking fame and fortune as an actress. Together, the two attempt to solve the mystery of Rita's true identity. Who is she? The story is set in a dream-like Los Angeles, spoilt neither by traffic jams nor smog. And there you go. It came out October 19th, 2001. And that's the premise of it. Justin Theroux's in it. Billy Ray Cyrus. Melissa George. Ann Miller plays Coco. Um, it's really, I'd like to say I liked it a lot, but it really wasn't memorable for me to hardly even tell you anything about it. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't watch it again. I have so many hours left in my life, Jay.
No.
I can't dwindle them away.
Well, I guess it'll be the last thing we'll talk about for Lynch will be Straight Story. And I believe this is 1999. And I love that movie. I've seen that 3 or 4 times. And I want to see if it's streaming anywhere because I don't have a copy of it. I wish I had a copy of it. But that's a movie I'm very fond of. And it's probably David Lynch's most, just speaking of Straight Story, it's very straightforward. He doesn't go weird with it. He doesn't, there's not like any surreal moments in it. It's a very straight story. And what it is, it's this old man, Richard Farnsworth, the sheriff character from Misery is that actor, Richard Farnsworth. And the guy that Misery kills later in the film, that old man. But anyway, that's who it is, Richard Farnsworth. And his brother, like 100 miles away or something, has had a stroke. And he wants to visit his brother before he dies. His brother's like on his deathbed or something. And he wants to see his brother before he dies. Well, because of his eyesight, he can't get a driver's license. So he gets on his John Deere tractor and he hits the road in a John Deere tractor. And
pulling a little trailer.
Yeah, pulling a little trailer and travels 100 miles or whatever it is. But I love that movie. It like I say, it's just a very normal film, but just great performance by Richard Farnsworth. Sissy Spacek's in it. She plays his daughter. She didn't have a big part, but I like her in the movie. She's good. Sissy Spacek. But it's mainly about this old man traveling in this John Deere tractor and the people he meets on the road. He meets all these different interesting people, interesting and weird people he meets on his way to go see his brother. And it's just a really good story and just very well told. And just one of my favorites by David Lynch. And probably his most normal movie.
Yeah.
Is Straight Story. That he doesn't go off on any tangents with Straight Story. He just tells this very simple story about this old man riding his John Deere tractor down the road to go see his brother.
I'll see his brother.
And the people he meets along the way, he meets some very interesting people. I guess that's the only sort of David Lynch's thing about it is the people he meets. He meets some weird people and interesting people. So, but anyway, Straight Story. Find Street Story and watch Street Story.
Before we ease off a Lynch, one more. I wanted to explain to you what Lost Highway is about. And the more I read on it, I said, I think I've seen this thing, but I'm not sure. It was released in January 15th, 1997 in France. It's screenplays by David Lynch and Barry Gifford. From the imitation of imagery, Lynch fashions two separate but intersecting stories. One about a jazz musician, Bill Pullman. I love Bill Pullman. Tortured by the notion that his wife's having an affair, who suddenly finds himself accused of her murder. The other is a young mechanic, Balthazar Getty, if I'm saying that right, Balthazar Getty, drawn into a web of deceit by a temptress who is cheating on her gangster boyfriend. These two tales are linked by the fact that the woman in both are played by the same actress, Patricia Arquette. There you go. That is, yeah, and it did. It had who you thought it had it. Who you thought it had in it. It had Robert Blake. It's a mystery man. It has David Lynch as the morgue attendant. I dig that. I'd love to see that. Bill Pullman is, the poor man, Fred, that stuff's going down on, of course, Patricia Arquette. But it also had in Dick Loggia.
Loggia. Loggia?
Yeah.
Robert Loggia?
Yeah. He plays Dick Lorette. And Michael Massey, Massee, plays Andy. But it's really, I don't know, it made 15 million, so I guess somebody liked it. But I think I remember.
I'd like to see,
Yeah,
I think I've seen it, but I just don't remember anything about it. Except I just remember Robert Blake's character being very bizarre.
Well, what's cool about it, and after this I'll be done with it, but the film follows, again, Pullman, right, that begins receiving mysterious tapes of him and his wife Arquette in their home. And then he's all of a sudden convicted of murder. So we've met before, haven't we? A mesmerizing mediation on the mysterious nature of identity, Lost Highway, and it was David Lynch's 7th feature film. There you go.
And Sam Crow is asking how we're doing. Hey, Sam Crow, we're doing good.
Sam, we just cooking with Crisco's, what us old Southern grandmas say.
We're finishing up with David Lynch. We're talking about
yeah. And Jay was kind enough when he did his Spielberg. Who did you deal with Spielberg when you discuss your other two directors?
It was Francis Coppola.
Yeah, Coppola and Steven Spielberg.
We did Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, we did. We really both enjoy it. We could go back and revisit Hitchcock, man. We really could.
Yeah.
But when after you got through doing your two, I think you and Jake did most of that one. I said I want to do David Lynch and Ridley Scott, and you said we'll make time. I promise you. And so thank you.
Well, no, I mean, definitely there's two directors that I'm very fond of, and getting to Ridley Scott, gosh, we could
Sir Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. We're going to skip around on Ridley Scott because we could do a show just about Ridley Scott.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's still kicking. He's still doing. He's still out there directing, in fact, Gladiator 2, I think, is coming out this year. So,
and Napoleon, and he doing a second one on Napoleon as well, I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
he did that just last year, Napoleon.
Yeah,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, but he took a different take on it.
Yeah,
he said, after reading so many research, he deeply dived research into Napoleon. He said, I decided that what is missing from all those books, history books and historical, things people wrote about him, same principle, I know, is his relationship with Josephine and how she had he was really deeply in love with her, and she had a huge influence on the way he went to war and how he, and how he ruled and everything. I thought that's pretty cool. But anyway, there we go, Napoleon.
Well, and I haven't seen that one. That's one I'd like to see, but that's an example about how several of Ridley Scott films, he makes these very epic films, very wide scope films. That he when he tells a story, he often tells it in a very big way, and with big sets and very epic. A lot of times, but Ridley Scott. But let's talk about the first movie. And you were staying at a motel in Mahia, the Texas motel.
Yeah, no, it was the Lone Star Hotel. It burnt down. It was right by the movie.
It might have been Lone Star. It was just a little 2-story wooden building. And I remember they had a black and white TV on the ground floor.
Yeah. And a bunch of old men playing cards down there. Now, this one was big, Jay. It had about 70 rooms, and it's upstairs, downstairs. I was upstairs. I had a little kitchenette and everything. Yeah. And I didn't have a car at the time, and I was working at Gibson Discount Center. I graduated high school. Yeah, and so I could walk to work. So I just went up there and asked the manager. He said, "Oh, I don't." I was like 18. He said, "I don't rent to young women." I said, "Listen, if you'll help me put a couple extra locks on the door where I can sleep good, I'll pay you, and I'll never miss my payment." I lived there, dang, Jay. Pardon me, almost a year.
Huh. Yeah, but I remember that. What did you say it was again? What was the name of it?
The
Lone Star Inn.
I think it was called Lone Star Hotel.
Lone Star Hotel. Anyway,
it was a fancy thing when it was first built.
But you were babysitting me at the time. I was staying with you, Mom and Dad. I don't know. Anyway, I was with you. And I was bored, and this movie was playing at Mahia Theater, and I said, I want to see this, because I think my friend Mark had already seen it, but I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And so it comes to Mahia Theater, and well, all right. So you drove me there. It was a rated R movie.
No, dude, this was right across the street.
Oh, is it across the street?
Okay. Yeah, it was right there on the corner across the street.
Well, anyway.
We just walked across the street.
Yeah, you got me in the movie because it was a rated R movie, because I don't know how might have been. Let's see how old I would have been at the time. 15.
Well, maybe? I was 18 minus 9. 9.
No, we're screwed up in some way because I definitely wasn't 9 years old. I was older than that.
Then you're off on your date.
It came out in 1980, so yeah, I would have been 15. So yeah, we're messed up in some way.
Yeah, we kind of are. Well, I wasn't living there then, but I did have a little house in town.
And there's people that are watching this; they don't give a fuck. But anyway, I want to get this straight because the motel I remember was not the one across the street. It was this little wooden building. It was 2 stories, and you were at the top floor, and you had a room in this little motel. It was a little motel. And
that was the Texas one, but I didn't live there. I went and cleaned it after I got off work from Gibson.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember very distinctly that day you were at this motel doing whatever you were doing.
Yeah.
And you took me, because like I say, I probably was about 50 because this movie came out in 1980. Anyway, the movie is
Alien.
And you took me. You didn't watch it with me. You got me. I got the ticket for me. I went. I got sat in there, and might have been one or two more people in this theater as I'm watching this movie. And I'm watching this movie unfold and getting so wrapped up in it. Alien. Kind of a monster movie in space. Almost like a slasher film in space with this alien stalking the inhabitants of the Nostromo space station.
Yep.
And John Hurt that we spoke of that played the Elephant Man, he's the guy that gets a little sick, and this thing busts out of his chest, this alien. And Sigourney Weaver was one of the first examples I saw of a woman given a dominant role where she's in charge. She's kind of running things, Sigourney Weaver. She's, that was something you didn't see often during this time period. A woman kind of given that much strength and power in a film. Particularly when it gets to the end of the film, which is just her versus the alien. And to give Sigourney Weaver this kind of role, I think it was new to me to see a character given that much agency, a female. But anyway, great movie. The way that movie's filmed and the look of that alien, H.R. Geiger, I think is his name, that created all the, we created the alien.
Special effects, yeah.
And but great effects, great, and just very creepy and scary, and just sitting there alone in this theater and watching this movie unfold it had a big impact on me. That I thought, just thought it was a great film, and just Alien. And kind of my introduction to Ridley Scott. Alien.
What about Alien 2? Or what is that where she finds the little girl?
Alien 2 is Aliens. But that Ridley Scott didn't direct that.
Well, what about Alien? Did she find the little girl there?
That's Aliens. That's the second.
Okay, that's the second. Yeah. Well, that's why I think. Yeah, I mean,
it's Sigourney Weaver in this. She's in this escape ship,
and she's in charge.
She thinks she's blown up the alien in the space station, but no, it's in this escape pod thing she's in. It's in there with her. And she finally blasts the alien out in space and kills the alien at the end of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry.
But you're talking about aliens.
I wanted to know. Yeah.
Now, 1982. And once again, this is one I didn't see in the theater. I didn't see this. I don't think I saw this until VHS. And let me find my copy of that. Oh. Blade Runner.
Oh, you didn't care for it. I loved Blade Runner.
Harrison Ford.
When it came out.
And this would be 1982. Harrison Ford, Sean Young, Rutger Hauer. The guy from The Hitcher, the evil guy from The Hitcher, Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, I love that. He's good looking, but he's evil.
Yeah. But Blade Runner. And yeah, when I saw this, particularly the effects of this one, the flying ships flying over this city.
The snakes.
Supposed to be in the future. I think it took place in like 2016 or something, which was the future back then.
Yeah.
And it's in this future world where these sort of bioengineered humans called replicants are made. Fake people. But the line, the song, More Human Than Human, well, that line comes from Blade Runner. More human than human. Well, Harrison Ford, his job is to hunt down the replicants that have gone past their prime. They're supposed to, they've got a certain lifespan where they're supposed to basically shut down or die. because they're kind of bioengineered. I don't think they're mechanical. They're actually flesh,
Yeah.
but
They
they're
look
created.
real. They
Uh,
look like real people.
yeah, and they're created to do like menial jobs and things like that. Replicants. Uh, there's a prostitute girl in there that's a replicant at one point that he hunts down, um, and but that's Harrison Ford's job is to hunt down the replicants and kill them to bring
Yeah.
them.
There was four. He was forced by his police chief, Emmett Walsh, to continue
I
the
love him. I love it. I love
yeah
him.
to
Emmett
continue his old job as replica hunter. His
Yeah.
assignment is to eliminate four escaped replicants from the colonies who have returned to Earth.
But anyway, great movie, very science fiction kind of film. Great effects, some just great visual effects, and some of the just wonderful visual effects.
Yeah.
And great performance by Harrison Ford and Rutger Hauer as the replicant, at the end that he's hunting down, and that gives him more than an even match. Rutger Hauer. And Sean Young. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
He, yeah. He goes to this Tyrell Corporation and he meets Rachel Sean Young, a replicant girl, and he falls in love with her.
yeah,
He's not supposed to. He's supposed to be, Oh, let's see. Do androids dream of electric sheep?
that's the original story.
Yeah, that's the original one. It came out June, you're right, 1982, which I know you knew that, but just in case. And it's in a nutshell, it's existential, dark, and atmospheric.
Uh, and hey Ben, he asked me if I liked the sequel. I like the sequel. I need to see it again. And this is Blade Runner. What was the name of it? 2024 or something like that. What was it?
2049, is that the one?
2049. Is that it? Yeah, 2049.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it's one that I need to revisit because I got to the end of it and I'm kind of like, this is something I need to see again. I need to experience it again and sort of take it all in again. But I did like it. I did like it. Harrison
Oh,
Ford.
God. Yeah, Ryan Gosling. I haven't seen it.
Ryan Gosling. It's good. It's on one of the streaming services. It might be on the Amazon channel or something like that. But anyway, I think it's streaming.
Bunch of good people in it.
Yeah. But it's a good one. Yeah. I did like it. Like I say, it's one that I need to revisit. Okay. Now, gosh, there's so many we can go through here.
I know, right?
But 1985. This is a movie I watched recently. I have seen this movie several times. And I'll tell you who the main reason I watched this movie for. But anyway, the movie is Legend.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, an early film with Tom Cruise. But anyway, it is Tim Curry as Darkness. He plays this kind of goblin, evil goblin character that basically he is the personification of evil. He's darkness. And he's got these huge, curved horns he has on his head.
Red.
Yeah. You can't recognize him. He's got all this makeup and these horns. But yeah, Tim Curry as Darkness. He makes that movie a legend. And just a great makeup job they did on Tim Curry, in that. But it's got goblins, it's got unicorns. It's a fantasy story, I don't know. It's not great. I do enjoy the movie, but the main reason why I like the movie is Tim Curry's character as Darkness, the Lord of Darkness. Yeah. So, but yeah, Legend. You get very. It's very much a fantasy movie. Like I said, there's little goblin characters in it and all that. Like I say, Tom Cruise. Uh, so, um, okay. Well, now this one I did see this one in the theater, and I remember when I saw this, I was surprised that Ridley Scott had directed it because it didn't really feel like a Ridley Scott movie, even though it's a great movie, and that's Thelma and Louise.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh, and the Susan Sarandon,
Gina Davis.
and a young Brad Pitt.
Very young Brad Pitt.
Might been his first movie. I don't know if it's his first,
I don't know, but I think it might be.
but one of his first films, Brad Pitt. Um, but anyway, they're two friends, Thelma and Louise, and they're at a bar and they're getting a little too lit. And this guy comes on to, what is it? Is it Thelma and Louise that he comes on to? They basically, um, he gets rough with her. It's Gina Davis's character.
Yeah, I sort of say I know it's her, but I can't remember
I forget if she's Thelma or Louise.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're at this bar and they're outside of this bar, and he gets too fresh with her, and then he gets rough with her, because she won't.
I want nothing to do with him.
Don't want to do anything. He wants to hump on her and shit, and kiss on her and stuff, and she don't want none of that. So, and then what was it? Susan Sarandon shows up, says, "You get the fuck away from her," or something like that.
No.
And he said something. He goes, "I should have went ahead and fucked her," or something to that effect. And Susan Sarandon blows his head off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what was her line after she says that? Shut your mouth or something like that. You watch what you say or something after killing him. I forget what her line is, but I love her line. So now Thelma and Louise are on the run because a man is dead now. So they go on the run. And just a great, what I call road movie, where it's them, they're trying to stay one step ahead of the law that's hunting them down. And they meet Brad Pitt. And Gina Davis has a fling with Brad Pitt. And he kind of shows them the ropes on how to make some money, like robbing a liquor store or something like that. He shows them the ropes on how to get some quick cash, and has a fling with Gina Davis.
And Gina Davis had run away from her husband because he was.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
He was abusive, Yeah. And Susan Sarandon said, "Well, come on, we're going to take a trip. So you're taking a trip with me." And he did. He was intimidated by Susan Sarandon's character. I think she was Thelma. But anyway, he was a little bit, he didn't know what about her, because she'd go over to visit Gina Davis and she'd get him told, "Oh, you're here again? Yeah, do you want to do something about," she'd bow up to him. She wouldn't take any crap from him. And so, but Gina, I think, was physically and mentally abused, beat, and stuff like that. So she's like, "No, you're going to go with me. That's it. You're going to go with me. We're going to go on this road trip." And they did.
And like I say, just a really, it's a classic. Thelma and Louise is a classic. Yeah. It's one of the greats films, of our time. And I won't say what the ending is, but
oh no, but it's epic. Okay,
yeah, it's an epic. It involves a flying car. I'll say that.
Okay.
And great ending, and just great characters. Thelma and Louise, great acting by Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon.
Yeah,
and just a great movie. Yeah, a lot of fun, and just like a road movie, and them, escaping the law, and some really great moments in it. I love it when they meet this trucker or something like that, and they blow up his truck, and it's like this huge explosion, yeah. But anyway, yeah, Thelma and Louise. Okay, now
let's back up a whole minute, because 1977, Ridley Scott came out with The Duelist.
which I don't think I've seen. That's why I skipped.
It's set in France during the Napoleon Wars. It focuses on a series of duels between two rival officers. And they get into so many duels throughout this time. It was a trivial quarrel, and they meet, and every time they run into each other, they get into duels. But it has good people: Jay Harvey Keitel, Keith Carradine, Albert Finney, Christine Rains, Diana Quick. Ed Fox plays one of the colonels in it. Robert Stevens. See, it's got some really, really good people in it.
Well, it's one thing I need to look up then. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yes, you got to watch it. Yeah. They're, like I said, after 15 years, both the men that do the duels every time they see each other, and they walk away from them. They don't, one of them don't die, but they forget what they're dueling about, and it's swords, not guns.
Oh, okay.
Their mutual hatred for each other never ceases. They never forget. They hate each other, but they don't really remember why. But anyway, it's pretty good. And I when I pulled it up to look at it, it's on my list. I said, "Gosh, I think I've seen that." VH.
If I've seen it, I don't remember.
Yeah, but you might like it.
I like when you.
I like war movies.
Okay. Now, in this 2001, I like the movie. Certainly not as much as the first film. I like it, but anyway, Hannibal. The sequel to Silence of the Lambs.
I watched it recently. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, Anthony Hopkins. And I forget who plays Clarice. But it's a different actress plays Clarice.
But dang, she's good.
But I like it. But just the performance of Anthony Hopkins alone is really good. But there's some good moments in Hannibal. But I like Hannibal.
And at one time, it's been 7 years, and since Dr. Lecter escaped from custody, and he's now at large in Europe, right? Gary Oldman, Mason Erger, remembers Lecter too and is obsessed with revenge.
And then let's talk about Gary Oldman's character.
Julianne Moore.
Yeah, Julianne Moore. There you go, Julianne. But let's talk about Gary Oldman's character. Now you brought up Gary Oldman.
There you go.
He's basically skinned. That Hannibal gets him hooked on some kind of drug and talks him into basically cutting his own face off with like a straight razor or something. So the man basically has no face. His face is completely skinned. And so he's, so the makeup on Gary Oldman is really sick, very, very gross, where, basically he has no face, his lips are gone and his nose may be gone. He has no eyebrows or anything, and it's basically he's skinned. So naturally, he wants revenge. He wants to get Hannibal, and that is he's a rich man. I don't know how he got his money, but he's a rich man, so he's able to pay for people to hunt down Hannibal. But anyway, Gary Oldman. If to see him in that. With that makeup, it's just like, oh shit, where that's his skinned face, Gary Oldman, and a good performance by him, but Hannibal. What can you say? It's more Hannibal Lecter, and if you want some Hannibal Lecter, well then there you go.
There you go.
You get more of it with Hannibal.
And at one time, Julianne Moore passes out, and he could have killed her. But he don't. She's hurt, and he saves her. And
And wasn't that actor from Goodfellas? What's his name? He's in it. Oh God, what is his name? But anyway, he's in it, and he plays. He gets at one point Hannibal opens up his head and kind of forces him to eat his own brains or something like that.
Well, it had Gary Oldman, Mason Berger. Liotta.
Ray Liotta. There you go. Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about. Yeah, Ray
Yeah.
Liotta. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, okay, Hannibal. Uh, now the next one I saw this, and this is another one that I need to revisit. So hopefully you can give us more information about Black Hawk Down.
One of my favorites. It is literally my seventh favorite of all time movies because I love war movies. People don't understand. Now I like some war movies, and I especially like the ones that happen in Afghanistan. I mean, I don't go as far back as Barry used to go, World War One and Two. No, bring me on up. Desert Storm. But this film takes place in 1993 when the U.S. sent special forces to Somalia to destabilize the government and bring food and humanitarian and aid to the people. Yeah, I hate that word. I never could say it right. To the starving population, right? And so they used Black Hawk helicopters to fly to lower down the soldiers onto the ground and to drop these bundles. But there's so many starving people, they have to be down there to stabilize the area so you can make sure everybody gets some food, right? And so they're attacked by the Somali forces, is what happens. And it brings down two of the helicopters just immediately. Right?
Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, well, there you go. And from there, the U.S. soldiers, they have to struggle to regain their balance while enduring heavy gunfire. And to me, whew, it made 173 million. It sure did, because it's one of my I'm telling you, mainly because I've always liked Josh Hartnett and Eric Bana. And then you go throw in Ewan McGregor and Tom Hardy and Tom Sizemore, Orlando Bloom. Come on now.
Well, it's definitely one that I need to see again because I definitely have seen it, but it's been quite a while since I've seen it. But
yeah, and it's just.
Well, I remember, it made a lot of money. It was really popular at the time. I think it might have got several Oscar nominations, and was a big movie at the time.
Although it's a good war movie, it remains superficially faithful to Bowden's description of the basic actions 3 to 4 October 1993. It was a failure in terms of explaining some of the fundamental assumptions and conditions that underlie Task Force Rangers operations. So, Task Force Rangers, military, said, no, it wouldn't happen like this, it wouldn't happen like that, and they picked it apart. And it really was kind of depressing to read about it later on, the way they said, because it was supposed to be loosely based on a true story. 18. What happened was the story of Black Hawk Down began with Delta Force arrested 20 Somalians during the assault, and the Black Hawk helicopter that was shot down, and the rescues were ambushed. 18 Americans were killed. So see, it really was based on a true story. And I think that's another thing that brought it close to my heart, thinking, oh my gosh, we've had military. My daughter has had 2 military, well, they were Navy, but of course, and Dad, but nobody saw action. My father-in-law was the closest. He was a cook, a chef. And then he was also a medic that just passed. My father-in-law, my daughter's father-in-law that passed. But thank goodness, there was no activity that our dad, went through. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's one of my favorites. So as soon as we come to that one, I'm like, I'm not gonna
go. Well, okay, and there's one I skipped over, and I'll give the line from this movie. Are you not entertained? And Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, and Gladiator.
Yeah, came out 2000.
Yeah, another epic film, another very big scoped film about the gladiators and sword fighting and lions and throwing into the arena and fighting to the death with swords, and doing the whatever, the emperor or what like that, doing the thumbs up or thumbs you know, uh, the gladiators, yeah. Um, and Russell Crowe is, I think he's like a slave. He's forced into fighting as a gladiator,
Yeah.
uh, and that I think
Most
he's got a wife,
most of them was,
wife and kid,
fortunately.
but he's captured and enslaved and forced to fight as a gladiator
Yeah.
uh, in the arena, these big, huge arenas, where they all, gather to watch the gladiators fight. Um, and that line that he says, "Are you not entertained?" uh, you know, and there's one scene where he's fighting a lion, and
Well, so that's what a lot of them. That's what that a lot of times the gladiators were just one on one with lions. They weren't fighting each other or other forces. You know what I mean?
uh,
They were just doing that, and I'm like, ooh,
great performance by Joaquin Phoenix. He's what is it? He's the like son of the emperor or something like that. I forget what his character is, but he takes over control. I mean, the whoever the leader dies, I think, and then he becomes the leader. The Joaquin Phoenix does, and you have a showdown between him and Russell Crowe at the end of the film. That's really good. Uh, sword fight, and but anyway, yeah, great big scale movie. Big, it was big. That was a big movie at the time. Gladiator, big. Once again, what Ridley Scott could do with a
production.
big
You know,
production. Very epic production. Gladiator.
um, he loved doing military.
Uh, okay, now the next one is a weird film. I've got it on Blu-ray, and uh, Prometheus. uh,
Yeah,
this is 2012. It's kind of an alien prequel
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
where in Alien, where they go and there's these dead aliens the dead alien in this chair that they see. Um, well, they name them the engineers. And in Prometheus, the idea is that as the engineers are basically our creators, they created the human race. The engineers did. We're kind of like a biological experiment that the engineers did to create, creatures, and these creatures became humans. That's the way I understood it. It's okay. It's got some good visuals in it. Uh, But I don't know. It's just sort of a weird direction. I thought he went with the Alien franchise to kind of tell the story of the engineers and you know, I don't know. It's okay. Like I say, I've got it on Blu-ray, and I've got the sequel on Blu-ray, Alien Covenant. And Alien Covenant to me, it's kind of like people were bitching about Prometheus. Well, there's no aliens in it. Well, there are aliens in it, but there's not the stereotypical alien from Aliens, with the
yeah.
long head, and you get some aliens in it, but it's not the aliens that everybody wanted. Is if you're going to tell an alien movie, you want to put aliens in it. So he made Alien Covenant, and you get your aliens in
There
Alien
you
Covenant.
go.
So it's the sequel to Prometheus, where you get the actual proper aliens, that you wanted. And it's another movie that's okay. It's all right. It's not great. I like it. I've also got it on Blu-ray. But yeah, Alien Covenant. Um, now, well, we're kind of getting back up to speed here, up to present day. And of course, I haven't seen Napoleon with Joaquin Phoenix. I really like that actor. He recently won Best Actor for playing Joker uh, a couple of years ago. He played the Joker, and there's another Joker movie coming out with Joaquin Phoenix, um, and with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. So I'm anxious to see that.
Yeah, it might be a good watch.
Yeah. But anyway, Napoleon, yeah, I haven't seen Napoleon. And this year, Gladiator 2 is coming out. And the only actor I know that's in that is Denzel Washington. So, but he was a great actor. But anyway, he's in Gladiator 2. So I'm just assuming we're going to get more gladiators in Gladiator 2. Um, but but okay, that kind of case. Is there anything else that you would want to say
Oh
about it?
yeah, I am not done yet. We got
Okay, well,
another
go ahead.
15 minutes or so, don't we? I like The Martian with Matt Damon.
Oh yeah, and I've got this. If I skipped over The Martian,
Nah, my turn, my
no,
turn.
I really like the Martian's great. Oh, I like The Martian.
My turn. I was going to tease you about it if you didn't mention it. I was going to say,
No, I skipped. I got it on the list, but I skipped over it. Yeah,
I love
I'm
that.
glad you brought it up though.
Yeah, because it's I mean, come on now. When astronauts blast off for the planet Mars, they leave behind Matt Damon, played by his name was Mark Waitney, presumed dead after a fierce storm. He was out.
Yeah, there was a big dust storm.
Yeah,
They're on Mars, and there's this huge dust storm.
and they take off, and because they presume he's dead, they said there's no way he could live through that. And he, with only a meager amount of supplies, this stranded visitor must utilize his wits and spirit to find a way to survive on the hostile planet. Back in Earth, members of NASA and a team of international scientists, they worked tirelessly to try to bring him home, while his crewmates hatched their own plan for a daring rescue mission. Now, he is a botanist, and he was bringing to the group growing plants, right? Because you got to eat when you're up there. And so, they're on this mission to see how, if people could sustain life. And so what he does is he has several things like to help him survive. He's got a HAB water reclaimer, oxygen generator, the rover, the spacesuit, etc. But he didn't have any fertilizer, and he had enough seeds, and so he had some leftover potato seeds. So he's like, well, okay, or plants. He said, so he conserved his poop and would plant in his poop and lived on poop potatoes. Those potatoes would grow, and
Well,
then
and that's what I really like about the movie is the the, the details they go into about how he grows food, uh,
yeah,
the dealing with oxygen,
yeah,
and things like that. Figuring out problems that he has to solve to survive until they get until they can come and get him.
and,
uh,
and
and
yeah, and he's hoping they hadn't given him up, for dead, because he did, in the storm he did lose a lot of stuff. You know, I mean, the communication's one of them, but then some of his crew says, "But we're not leaving him behind. If it kills us all, we're going to figure out how to, swing back around along and get him."
yeah.
And what's funny about this is there was research done on the number of F words. Religious exclamations, 96 mild obscenities, 10 religious profanities, 13 derogatory names, 90, what is that? I don't know what that is. 47 anatomical terms, 59 F word derivatives.
Uh,
There are at least 100 F words and numerous other profanities. And because, I mean, my gosh, he thinks well, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to.
if you're on Mars and you think you might die, you're going to say fuck a lot. So,
Yeah, in other words, he was left alone on Mars for 546 Earth days, and had NASA followed their initial plan of rescuing Mark during the Ares 5 mission of 5, 6, 4. Anyway, his character would have spent 4 years on Mars. So I think it's really cool. I mean, I
Yeah, like I say,
really,
and I'm sorry I skipped over that, but yeah, that's I really do like that movie, and I like the details they go into about how he survives, and
yeah.
you
And,
know,
and yeah,
it's a
2015,
very realistic movie. It's like
it is.
if you actually were on Mars, this is what you would need to do.
And we have, and the United States has goals of making a colony on Mars.
And
And
so I would assume quite a bit of research was done about what you would actually need to do to survive.
he won
And and see what Adam says here.
he won the Golden Globe for Best Actor
Yeah.
in that movie in 2015. Yeah.
And but Adam says Black Hawk Down is the best modern war film ever made. By the way, that's what he said.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adam. It's like I said, I'm very stingy about my movies, but it's number 8 in my top 10. I go back to it, man. At least 2 or 3 times a year, I gotta watch Black Hawk Down. I
I
love
didn't
war
think it
movies.
was number 7 earlier, so it's gone
No,
back.
no, it's been 8. I think I said 8. Did it slip? Oh no. But I didn't want you to leave out the Martian. And
But
then
I did. Well, I didn't leave it out. It's on the list here, but I've just scribbled everything down here. But I skipped over the Martian. But no, I'm glad you brought up the Martian because
and he,
I really do like the Martian. Yeah, I do like
and
it.
he also did Body of Lies, LIES, American Gangster, The Counselor, All the Money in the World in 2017, Exodus, Gods and Kings. And in 1997, he did G.I. Jane with Demi Moore. I like
Oh
that.
yeah, GI. Yeah. I forgot about GI Jane. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
actually went to the theater and saw GI Jane in the theater.
and that is, of course, just the tip of the iceberg of what this man did. He didn't start actually making films till he was 40. And he says in his 80s, he considers himself now bankable.
Huh.
And he loves directing and he's going to continue to direct. Yeah, he did. He said he learned by making commercials. He was, that was what he was hired for. And he learned by making 30 and 60-second commercials, and he did that for 18 years there in London. And that's where he learned also to shoot with 46 cameras when he's making any kind of film, and he would be able to be done early in the day instead of take after take after retake after retake. And he always did, still does, storyboards. He would draw them out to look exactly like the scene would look in the movie, not stick men.
Actual artwork.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And he did that too. He said, you got to get these films funded. And he would take it to the meetings, and they were just amazed at what he did. And he's like, well, without these storyboards, there's no way I would have convinced investors a lot of times to even take a look at what I had to offer. And I thought that was pretty interesting. He's a really interesting man. Yeah. And he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth. And then he was knighted again, a higher knight level, by King Charles.
Oh.
Yeah. And you haven't lived unless you've seen some of his movies because they are something else.
Well, like I say, most people have probably seen several Ridley Scott movies because he's a very popular director. A lot of his movies were what you would consider kind of modern classics, like Thelma and Louise and Alien and Gladiator.
Yeah. Sir Ridley was born in 1937, best known for directing crime, science fiction, and historical drama genres. His work is known for its atmospheric and highly concentrated visual style. Yeah, buddy. He is among highest grossing directors to this date.
Yeah. And then his visual style, that's another thing to bring up, is that he's a very visual director.
Well, too, he leans out to find epics like Gladiator and, he likes to do these historical epic movies, which I think is cool. And
Yeah.
but I thought Martian was well, really well made.
Yeah, no, I really like Martian. Yeah. And thank you for bringing Martian up.
I wasn't gonna let you
I'm gonna skip
go,
over
man.
Martian, but I didn't do it on purpose. But
No, no, it's easy to it's easy. Well, there's such a volume of both these directors' work, man. It's really easy.
oh yeah, because I mean we definitely like I say, there's a lot of stuff that David Lynch has done. There's a short film. I think it's on Netflix, but it's something that he made in the last couple of years, and it's a short film. But it's David Lynch talking to a monkey, and
Oh
his
yeah, yeah.
and his monkey's talking back to him, and it's classic David Lynch. It's weird as hell, and yeah, but yeah,
Well,
and David Lynch talking like he
well,
talks, and
did you watch any of the time he likes to do the weather? He'll do the weather in Los Angeles. This
yeah,
is
I've seen a few of those. Yeah,
the date and time,
yeah,
and today is sunny.
yeah,
He
yeah.
just
I've
really,
seen a few of those. Yeah,
yeah, he just enjoys doing it. So he keeps doing it. And
yeah.
I kept thinking, and when I was looking at his accolades, I'm like, the weather, what the heck is that? So I looked
Yeah,
it up.
I've seen a few of those. David Lynch doing
Yeah.
doing
Now,
a weather report.
I want to jump back to Lynch just real quick. He had also put out in 1974 The Amputee. Darkened Room was 2002. And I forgot to mention those, but those were good too. He's a painter, filmmaker, of course, director, visual artist, musician, and occasional actor is how he quotes what he does. He
Yeah.
did the TV show 2010 to 2015, Louie. He did the Cleveland Show 2009 to 2013. And one of my favorite movies that he did in 2008 is Surveillance. That's pretty good.
I
And
didn't.
he was asked, "What is your favorite movie?" And he said, "Well, it's not one I directed, but Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window."
Yeah.
That is his favorite movie. He said, "I followed it all the way through." Jimmy
And
Stewart.
I just watched Rear Window just a few days ago.
There you go. He said, and Grace Kelly, Princess Grace, he called her. He said, the thing about that movie is I thought it was excellent because it delved into all those individual apartment people's
Yeah,
lives.
that's something I talked about when we did Alfred Hitchcock, is the way that he was able to show all these people doing these different things. And that girl that does she's like a ballerina or something like that. Oh my God, she's hot. and, but yeah, all these different people doing different things, and
Just living their lives.
the way he staged that was really good. Hitchcock. Yeah.
The only thing Lynch said was, I did not like the ending. I really think he could have carried it in a different direction. I did not care for the ending, but he didn't elaborate on why he didn't like it or where it could have gone. And
Yeah,
I thought, come
you
on,
told me about that.
read
And
it.
I mean, I didn't think the ending was bad. I thought it was okay. It's an ending.
Yeah, you got to end it somewhere.
But I didn't see what you would dislike about it, really. I just thought,
Yeah,
well, okay. It went in a direction that you would kind of figure it would go in,
yeah.
So, well, okay.
Well, yeah.
But, well, okay. And we're just about 2 hours here. We're just creeping up on 9 o'clock. So,
Well, is there anybody else in the chat? I can't
is
see
there
it.
anybody here that wants to say anything about either of these directors or anything else? You got any questions you want to ask me or her, or anything you want to say?
And please
I'm just
give
seeing 3 people in here now. So.
give the stream a thumbs up. There we go. We appreciate it big time. It really does. It helps with the algorithm
It helps
of
people,
YouTube.
whatever that is. Helps
Yeah.
people see an algorithm, whatever. It helps people see the
Yeah, that's what I researched and figured out. That's what it's called, Jay.
and if you would, spread the word. If you like what you see, well, tell folks about it. And,
Yeah.
maybe send them the link to it or whatever, where they can. If there's some particular show that you like, spread the word and let other people know about it. And,
Yeah.
I'll give some thought, or me and Kathy will both give some thought about what the next show will be about. I'm not sure what the next show will be
Well,
about.
I'm thrilled you let us do this one because this is two of my favorite. I
It's
love.
good good directors and good directors to talk about.
Yeah.
And let's see, we got Texas HXCX
Hi.
1965, the year I was born. Hi, Kathy and Jay. I'll hit you up on Facebook, Jay, if you're cool with that.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm not sure what you mean that you'll hit me up, but
Well, gonna send you a friend request, Jack Carlton.
uh, but yeah. I definitely have talked to him several times. In the year I was born, 1965. So
Well,
finally meeting somebody that's my age.
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I used to change Jay's diapers when he was a baby.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for sharing that.
well, I,
uh,
I'm just a tad bit older than you are,
yeah,
but
well, you're not 9 years old. But
see, I insult you, you insult me. That's what brothers and sisters do.
I
And then
wouldn't
also, if
call it
you
an insult. I just
no, it's just factoid, huh?
yeah, there you go.
Also, if you ever want to be on the show with Jay, he's very open to let people, as long as
Yeah, I mean, I
nothing
like
X-rated, but
the more the
you
better.
got to join in. Yeah,
We often have Jake on here with us. Didn't have him tonight, but
yeah, I miss Jake. Yeah, I was kind of hoping he
and he
would.
says he appreciates us both. So.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I like to, Jay's very open to ideas too. So yeah, join him on Facebook. He'll friend you. And if you got any ideas for shows, I mean, he's really
And
good.
also we want to give a plug for his show again, and it's uh, Jake the Horror Movie Geek.
Yeah.
Look him up on YouTube because he's interviewed some really cool people that have been from
Yeah.
horror films and such. He interviewed a voiceover artist that's been in a lot of stuff that you probably have seen.
Yeah.
Was really good, and he's really getting some cool
Yeah. I
interviews.
really enjoyed that. I just watched it yesterday.
Yeah, so
And
Jake the Horror Movie Geek, look him
yeah.
up and join his channel because he's
Yeah.
got some good stuff.
His podcast is An Eye for Horror. And I like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really like that. I liked how that was a good name,
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're just what you see was what you get. So Jay's really good about answering any questions and being open with people if
And
you have
yeah,
any
and also
questions.
any ideas that you folks may have about what a future subject may be, a movie we may talk about.
Yeah.
I still want to do that Jaws watch along. That'd be probably the first. I want to do a watch along, and the first movie will be Jaws because that's my favorite movie of all time. Is Jaws, and of course I gotta have the Blu-ray of that. So, but I want other people on there watching with us. So
Yeah.
that's something we'll figure out a day to do a Jaws watch along. Um, but yeah, I'm anxious to do that. But yeah, any ideas you might have about subjects we can talk about? It doesn't have to be movies. It can be, we can talk about anything. That's kind of been sort of my concentration has been talking about movies and movie directors. I did a vinyl show where I showed me and Jake were on there showing our vinyl records. I could do another one of them because I've got a lot more I could show vinyl records. Or I'm thinking we could do one where any kind of collectibles you may have.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Well, like from movies, horror movies, or whatever, just this fun
Yeah.
stuff you may have that you could just show off, and if you've got some things like that you would want to come on here and show off what you got, just some collectibles, things like that. So that would be a cool one to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, any ideas you guys have, just let us know or send me a message. Just give me an idea because I'm really open to ideas. We really sort of want to be an open forum here, and just there is no bad ideas. Just throw them at me, and we'll definitely consider just pretty much anything as far as a topic. It doesn't have to be movies; it can be anything.
Books.
Books or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I say, we're here where I'm at. Tomorrow's supposed to be another pretty day, but then Thursday we're supposed to be hit again with potential bad storms, potential severe weather. But what they're mainly worried about, though, is the flooding, because particularly our area, Lake Mahia, is often we get the worst of it. If it's going to rain, we often get the worst of it. And I guess it's just the way we are on the map. Uh, Melissa said it could be the actual Lake Mahia makes it rain more.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I
Lake
heard that
itself makes it rain more.
when I was a kid. I heard that. Yeah,
Because
atmospheric.
it goes up into the clouds, all the water, and then comes down. Uh, but it's just been crazy the amount of rain we've gotten, where it just goes on and on and on. You just don't get it ever stop. I've never seen so much rain.
Hard rain too.
Yeah, hard rain. Yeah, yeah.
And
So
we're getting some of that here too, but it's not near what y'all are getting. I mean, we're getting it too, but I mean, we're a couple hours south of you and not near like what you've been getting.
no,
But I've been,
it's been the most I've ever seen.
yeah,
But if we can get through Thursday, it's supposed to clear up at least for a good week, where it's not supposed to rain.
that'll be
It's
good.
supposed to get hot, but I can handle the heat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
you did good with the heat. I
and of
kind of,
course it'll be humid with all the rain we've had. It's going to be really humid along with the
yeah.
heat. Uh, but yeah, if we can get through Thursday, we're going to be okay for a while. Hopefully, hopefully I'm not going to have any more trees fall or anything like that. Uh, still got a lot of wood I need to get rid of. But okay, guys, I guess I'll wind this up here then. This has been a good one. And thank you,
Yeah, I
sis,
enjoyed a heck out of it, Bubba. Thanks for
for joining
having
me
me.
on this. And like I say, you folks, thank you all for watching. And once again, if you please give us a thumbs up. If you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up
Mhm.
and spread the word. And we'll do this again soon. And let's see. And Texas says, have a great night. Thank you,
Oh,
Texas.
you too. Have a good night too, Texas. Nice to meet you. And I like that Jay's open for all genre of movies too. We did one like that, and that was fun. And we could do several more like that because I like a lot of thrillers. Okay, Jay. Goodbye.
Okay, sis, everybody. I'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good one. And bye bye.